Alex Eala just did something no Filipino tennis player has ever done. She walked into Washington ranked 28th in the world, and she walked out a WTA 500 champion, having beaten an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a top 10 seed, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, and the world number 3, all in a single week. 7 days. 5 opponents who between them have won multiple Grand Slams and an Olympic gold medal. And she didn't scrape through any of it. But the number that actually stopped people cold wasn't on the scoreboard. It was in the stands. 80%. That was the share of ticket inquiries the tournament received in the weeks before the event, and almost all of them were asking the same question. When is Alex playing? Tournament organizers had never seen anything quite like it, and by the time the final was over, neither had the rest of the tennis world. Rewind to the first round. Eala walked onto the court at Rock Creek Park to face Zheng Qinwen, the Olympic gold medalist who had beaten her at the 2023 Asian Games. That loss had sat with her for 3 years, the kind of defeat a player carries quietly into every tournament that follows. This time she dropped the first set, then reeled off 4 of the last 5 games to close it out 6-4, 6-4, 6-1. The score line barely captures it. This was a rematch 3 years in the making, and she won it in front of a crowd that never stopped chanting her name. Afterward, when someone asked what it meant to have that kind of backing behind her, she didn't talk about nerves or redemption. She turned the question back on the person asking it, and the room went quiet for a second before people realized what she'd just said. The second round was tougher, and this is the match that showed everyone exactly what Eala is made of. Leylah Fernandez, the defending champion, had beaten Eala badly in Stuttgart just months earlier, and the memory of that loss was fresh. Eala took the first set 6-2 in barely half an hour, cruising, looking untouchable. Then Fernandez surged to a 5-1 lead in the second, and for a moment the whole stadium could feel the match slipping away, could feel Stuttgart repeating itself in real time. Instead, Eala won 5 straight games to get back on serve, forced a tiebreak, and closed the door 7-1. 62, 7-6. The defending champion was out, and Eala later said the key was staying patient, working through solutions point by point instead of panicking when the momentum turned. Then came the quarterfinal, a rematch of sorts. Eala had already beaten world number 10 Elina Svitolina in Berlin weeks earlier with an identical score line, and in Washington she did it again, 6-3, 6-4, breaking Svitolina's serve 6 times. 2 wins over a top 10 player in a single month is rare for anyone. For a 21-year-old from Quezon City, it was a statement. The semifinal is the one people will talk about for years. For the first time in tour history, an all-Asian semifinal took the stage at a WTA 500 event as Eala faced 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. Power against precision. Eala won it in 76 minutes, 6-4, 6-2, breaking Osaka's serve 4 times and finishing with less than half her unforced error count. Afterward, she said it was an honor just to share the court with her, but she made sure to stay locked in from the very first point. That set up the final against world number 3 Jessica Pegula for a champion's purse of $252,000, the largest single payday of Eala's career. She won that too, and with it, a career-high ranking of world number 20 and the distinction of becoming the first Filipina ever to win a WTA 500 title. None of this happened in a vacuum. Tournament chairman Mark Ine said his team had been watching what he called the Eala wave build since early spring and made a deliberate push to bring her to Washington because of it. What showed up once she got there surprised even him. Filipino flags filled entire sections of the stadium. Fans who had flown in from New York, Virginia, Maryland, and beyond took time off work and booked hotels just to be there. When Osaka, a player who has performed in front of some of the biggest crowds in the sport, walked off that semifinal court, she admitted she had never felt an atmosphere quite like it. Eala has talked about this kind of support before, and her answer is almost always the same. After beating Zheng in the first round, someone asked her what it felt like to have that level of backing. She said the question should be rephrased. It's not about what it feels like to have this kind of support. It's about what it's like to be Filipino. She said versions of that line after Wimbledon, after Berlin, and now after Washington. And each time it lands the same way, because she means it every time. She's also been candid that the scale of it still catches her off guard. She has said outright that she sometimes forgets the size of the platform she's built, and that the number of people who show up for her still surprises her. But she's just as clear about what that platform means. She has talked about understanding that she represents more than herself, that she is the first Filipina to reach this level in tennis, and that somewhere out there, a young girl watching her play might now believe a pathway exists that she couldn't see before. It's worth remembering where this started. Not on a manicured court with a coach and an academy, but on a basketball court in Quezon City, training with her grandfather and her brother in whatever shoes she had. That's the through line in everything Eala says publicly. She talks about wanting to become a better player and a better person in the same breath. And she says it without a trace of performance, because at 21, as she put it herself, she knows she isn't the queen of the world. To a country of over 127 million people that has never produced a tennis star at this level before, she doesn't have to be. She just has to keep showing up the way she has all year, and let the rest take care of itself. What makes this run different from a typical breakout season isn't just the ranking jump or the trophy. It's that Eala has been remarkably consistent, tournament after tournament, about naming the actual source of her success. Not luck, not talent alone, but a genuine community that has followed her from Melbourne to Berlin to Wimbledon to Washington, and shown up in numbers that tournament organizers never fully anticipated. She keeps handing the credit back to them, match after match, interview after interview, without it ever sounding rehearsed. And after the extraordinary week she just had in Washington, capped by a maiden WTA 500 title and a career-high ranking, it's genuinely hard to argue that she's wrong about where the credit belongs.